we are, the most exciting event on TV since televised executions. Arena War, Maze Bank Arena, a fight to the death with corporate sponsors. And our sponsors have asked us to shoot anyone who doesn't stand for the national anthem. The place is electric.
You're right, Al. I saw a guy in a wheelchair crowd surfing while firing a pistol in the air, if that is not talent.
The hype is real, Violet. This match of Games Masters is set to begin as we watch contestants try for as many points as possible before total annihilation. One team goes for checkpoints. The other team tries to murder them from the spectator box.
Sponsored by the iFruit 100XZ, the only phone worth paying $2,000 for.
Bank Auditorium is deafening with rage and whiskey as we gear up for the start of a round of Games Masters.
Winners are here to win, losers are here to die. Let's go. Oh, I love it when a spectator gets in those turrets.
Checkpoint collected. No more Cerberus. Shit. Oh, look at that. In the stands, it's Chandra. Her album is #1 on the charts. She loves an arena war. Buy that record, people. It's top stuff.
Trouble. One more needed. Someone's got a drone out there looking to cause trouble.
competition is go! And the spectator is in the machine gun turrets.
Woo! Another checkpoint. Checkpoint.
There you see some fans in the stands. Let's make some noise. Lose your mind. You're on television, folks, at Arena War, and we're running out of body bags. Stop by the pharmacy at the concession stand for 2-for-1 opioids.
Ah, you got kill bags, wrong, stupid.
Watch out on the field, folks. Machine gun fire incoming.
We've hit 10 points. Damn, this is a good show.
We've got a player manning the remote control machine gun turrets. Toy car in the arena. And there's a checkpoint collected.
Great! 10 points on the board.
Watch out for the tiny mines. The final two. Who will win this? Drone strike, ethical or not, that was cool. Death from above. We've got a dead eye in the sky. A look on the Colossal Tron. Or some guys having a good time. Oh, he spilled a beer. Oh, looks like we're going to have a throwdown here. It's a proper bromance.
Collecting those checkpoints.
Not many seconds left.
Team 1 is done. Let's see what Team 2 can do.
Teams are looking prepared. And let's go. The alte remote control machine gun turret has arrived. And there's a point.
Here we are, Arena War.
This place is, as they say, crunk.
Whoa, crunk to the max on our sponsor, Sprung Fuel. I'm Al Jerome with the very famous Jock Cranley.
Well, thanks, Al. I wouldn't miss this for the world. A stadium packed with rabid lunatics full of liquor and opioids that you can sell T-shirts and hats to? This is modern entertainment at its finest.
Oh, boy, are they excited. We're going to see some phenomenal matches here tonight. Guts, glory, or go home. This is Arena War.
Looks like we're almost ready for this wreck-it match.
The crowd is excited, Al. They're ready to see destruction, and they're going to get it.
Go! Oh, that's not good. Lost our first racer. Getting into concussion territory there. Laps are adding up. Some more hazards on the racetrack. Look at that. Just a second. 11 players left. Left. How about you take a seat in the spectator box?
Somebody is going to be hurting after that head-on collision.
And the spectator is in the machine gun turrets.
Arena War wheel spinning. Could mean trouble. Oh, man, a head-on crash.
Watch out on the field, folks. Machine gun fire incoming. Looks like we're at 9 left now.
Beat it. They are done. Somebody is going to be hurting after that head-on collision. Insane!
Colossal Tron, people having a... Whoa, she's lost her lunch, but she's still at it, ladies and gentlemen. What a fan.
Oh, man, a head-on crash. Looks like the Arena War wheel is getting some play. 7 players left. The crowd loves this. That takes us to only 6. And that's how dreams die. Only 5 left. Arena War wheel is spinning. Careful out there. Oh, somebody is going to be hurting after that head-on collision. The Arena War wheel is being spun. Watch out. Looks like all the fun is in the spectator box.
Someone is up on the Arena War wheel. Could hit a deadly jackpot. In this. The deadly Arena War wheel is in action. Where will it land?
We're on the final lap, Al.
Oh, a spectator is armed to traps and has their finger on the button. And we are down to 3. Unbelievable.
Right across the line. An incredible race. It looks like the traps are all set. Holy shit!
There are only 2 players left and people are loving it.
Arena War wheel spinning. Could mean trouble.
2 racers left. Who's gonna make it?
Those traps are armed, Al, and somebody is getting screwed.
Here we are, Jock. Arena War, Flag War.
That's right, Al. Get the flag with your vehicle and rush it back to your base, like a hoarder. I love hoarding.
Brought to you by ProLapse and their limited edition Tony McTony sneakers.
Who says America is struggling when people can pay $1,000 for shoes? We're all rich now.
Going to be a great match of Flag War. Stay tuned.
It's FW, an acronym for Flag War. Smash and grab those flags. Most deliveries to your base wins.
There's going to be shrapnel flying tonight.
Exterminate! Oh, little head-on action there.
Looks like some wealth has been redistributed. That flag is gone.
Oh, flag delivered. Put a flag in it, baby. thing is headed home. Gun tower now available. You better get there fast.
That flag has been stolen and given to its rightful owners, like America.
Boom! Now that's a hit. Watch out for the homing missiles.
Oh man, a head-on crash.
Wow! Oh, whoa, team is looking weak, really behind there. We have someone manning the machine guns. Be careful. Flag stolen. Wow, did you see that?
Are they even trying? Not looking good at all.
Whoa, get off. Oh, my God, we lost another.
Flag stolen. You gotta stand your ground. What an embarrassment. They're getting pounded. Roger, spanked.
Adding to the excitement, the gun tower is online.
Oh, somebody is going to be hurting after that head-on collision.
Oh, this should be fun. Gun tower online. Oh, they've got the flag. Oh, that's humiliating. Oh, that is terrible. Really falling behind there.
Looks like some wealth has been redistributed. That flag is gone. Are they even trying? Not looking good at all. Oh man, a head-on crash. Flag stolen. You gotta stand your ground.
Oh, whoa, team is looking weak. Really behind there.
Looks like some wealth has been redistributed. That flag is gone.
We haven't got much time left on the clock. How is this gonna end?
Jeez, what an embarrassment. They're getting pounded. Roger, spanked.
Getting into concussion territory there.
Flag stolen. You gotta stand your ground.
Oh, This team match is underway. Now. Oh, head-on collision. That's going to leave a mark. Oh, a flag has been taken. That thing is headed home.
Bye-bye. See you later. An amazing flip.
And that flag has been delivered. Fantastic delivery.
Looks like some wealth has been redistributed. That flag is gone.
Oh, they were losing, but they came from behind, which is a lot of fun. Well, let's see if those gun towers change things.
Flag stolen. You gotta stand your ground.
Oh, a little head-on action there.
And that flag is delivered. Taking other people's stuff. Feels good, don't it?
Flag stolen. Wow, did you see that?
Flag scored. Looks like they turned this ship around. That flag has been stolen and given to its rightful owners, like America. Looks like some wealth has been redistributed. That flag is gone.
Oh, and the flag successfully brought home.
Flag stolen. You gotta stand your ground. Looks like the arena war wheel is getting some play.
Oh, unbelievable! Flag scored. What a turnaround.
And that flag is delivered. Taking other people's stuff. Feels good, don't it?
Oh, they got the flag. Oh, that's humiliating.
Look at those machine guns. That flag has been stolen and given to its rightful owners, like America.
Oh, a flag has been taken. That thing is headed home. Oh, flag delivered. Put a flag in it, baby.
Oh, somebody is going to be hurting after that head-on collision.
Flag stolen. Wow, did you see that?
And that flag is delivered. Taking other people's stuff. Feels good, don't it? Looks like some wealth has been redistributed. That flag is gone. They are done. Are they even trying? Not looking good at all.
Clock down to the final moments.
Flag stolen. You gotta stand your ground.
Looks like the gun tower is fired up.
What an embarrassment. They're getting pounded, rogered, spanked.
The arena This team competition will begin. Now. Whoa, head on. Oh, they got the flag. Oh, that's humiliating. And that flag has been delivered. Fantastic delivery. Oh, they were losing, but they came from behind, which is a lot of fun. Oh, a flag has been taken. That thing is headed home. Oh, and the gun towers are available. Someone is going down. Flag stolen. Wow, did you see that? Getting into concussion territory there. Oh, flag delivered. Put a flag in it, baby.
Someone is about to get mowed down.
Oh, they got the flag. Oh, that's humiliating.
Now, those remote control missiles mean trouble. That flag has been stolen and given to its rightful owners, like America.
Oh, a flag has been taken. That thing is headed home.
And that flag is delivered. Taking other people's stuff. Feels good, don't it?
Flag stolen. Wow, did you see that? And that flag has been delivered. Fantastic delivery. Oh, head-on collision. That's going to leave a mark. And that flag has been returned home.
Looks like some wealth has been redistributed. That flag is gone.
Boom! Now that's a hit. Adding to the excitement, the gun tower is online.
Are they even trying? Not looking good at all. That flag has been stolen and given to its rightful owners, like America. Flag stolen. You gotta stand your ground. And they are eliminated. Gone. And that flag is delivered. Taking other people's stuff. Feels good, don't it? Looks like the wealth has been redistributed. That flag is gone. What an embarrassment. They're getting pounded. Roger. Spanked. Oh, man, a head-on crash.
Oh, and the flag successfully brought home.
Flag stolen. You gotta stand your ground.
And the gun tower is operational.
Are they even trying? Not looking good at all.
Clock is counting down.
Looks like some wealth has been redistributed. That flag is gone.
Oh, machine guns are firing and looking for a target.
That flag has been stolen and given to its rightful owners, like America. What an embarrassment. They're getting pounded. Roger. Spanked.
Team competition is go!
Oh, somebody is going to be hurting after that head-on collision.
Oh, they got the flag. Oh, that's humiliating.
And that flag is delivered. Taking other people's stuff. Feels good, don't it? Looks like some wealth has been redistributed. That flag is gone.
Oh, unbelievable! Flag scored. What a turnaround. Gun towers are operational. Assault-guided missiles are operational. We have someone manning the homing launcher. Be careful. Oh, a flag has been taken. That thing is headed home.
That flag has been stolen and given to its rightful owners, like America.
Drone strike. Ethical or not, that was cool.
Flag stolen. You gotta stand your ground. And that flag is delivered. Taking other people's stuff. Feels good, don't it?
Flag stolen. Wow, did you see that?
Oh, man, a head-on crash.
Oh, flag delivered. Put a flag in it, baby. Gun tower now available. You better get there fast.
Are they even trying? Not looking good at all. Looks like some wealth has been redistributed. That flag is gone. Oh, somebody is going to be hurting after that head-on collision.
Oh, team is looking weak. Really behind there. And that flag has been delivered. Fantastic delivery. Oh, they got the flag. Oh, that's humiliating. Oh, the flag is accepted.
What an embarrassment! They're getting pounded! Roger! Spanked! Flag stolen! You gotta stand your ground! Are they even trying? Not looking good at all.
Oh, a flag has been taken. That thing is headed home.
What an embarrassment! They're getting pounded! Roger! Spanked! Look at those machine guns!
Flag stolen. Wow, did you see that? How about you take a seat in the spectator box? Oh, flag delivered. Put a flag in it, baby.
Are they even trying? Not looking good at all.
Oh, they've got the flag. Oh, that's humiliating. Clock down to the final moments. Oh, that is terrible. Really falling behind there.
Someone is about to get mowed down. Looks like some wealth has been redistributed. That flag is gone.
my mark, this team competition will begin. Now.
Oh, man, a head-on crash. Flag stolen. You gotta stand your ground. That flag has been stolen and given to its rightful owners, like America.
Oh, they were losing, but they came from behind, which is a lot of fun.
Looks like some wealth has been redistributed. That flag is gone.
And that flag has been delivered. Fantastic delivery. Looks like the gun tower is fired up. Oh, whoa, team is looking weak. Really behind there.
Flag stolen. You gotta stand your ground.
Oh, that is terrible. Really falling behind there.
Destroyed. Looks like there's gonna be tears tonight. Looks like some wealth has been redistributed. That flag is gone. Look at those machine guns.
Oh, whoa, team is looking weak. Really behind there. Oh, little head-on action there. Oh, a flag has been taken. That thing is headed home. Oh, that is terrible. Really. Flag stolen. Wow, did you see that? Oh, whoa, team is looking weak. Really behind there. Oh, they've got the flag. Oh, that's humiliating.
What an embarrassment. They're getting pounded. Roger, spanked. Flag stolen. You gotta stand your ground.
Oh, this should be fun. Gun tower online.
Are they even trying? Not looking good at all.
Oh, a flag has been taken. That thing is headed home.
Someone is about to get mowed down.
Oh, ouch! That's gonna leave a burn. Oh,
Man, what an embarrassment. They're getting pounded. Roger, spanked.
flag is back home.
Good Lord. Oh, God. Damn. Are they even trying? Not looking good at all. Looks like some wealth has been redistributed. That flag is gone.
We have a self-guided missile flying around here. Watch out.
What an embarrassment. They're getting pounded. Roger, spanked.
Ground timer has almost run out. Flag stolen. Wow, did you see that?
And that player is fried like bacon.
Wow! Oh, that is terrible. Really falling behind there. Oh, they've got the flag. Oh, that's you.
She should be here by now. Bien. So let's get started. Monsieur Eaton. Monsieur Eaton. Monsieur Eaton, I'm talking to you. I'm sorry, Monsieur le Président, I was thinking. Do you understand the indictment? Sorry, but I have to ask the prosecutor to repeat. Monsieur Eaton, do you consider it to be a joke? You're charged with a serious crime. Please stay focused. Monsieur Prosecutor, please continue. As I said, I accuse Alfred Eaton of murdering Marie Capet on the 17th of October 1894 in Paris. That day, Alfred Eaton was at the theatrical premiere of Prométhée, Vol du Feu, which took place at Opéra Garnier. As it is apparent from the testimony of witnesses, the accused left at about 8:30 p.m., before the end of the banquet. At about 9:25 p.m., he rented a room in his name at the Caucasus Hotel, which is adjacent to the building in which he lives. It was in that room that approximately at 11:16 p.m. Marie Capet was murdered. Next, the accused returned to his house, and at about 10:05 p.m. he entered his apartment in the company of Marie Capet, or let her in. It results from the fingerprint analysis. It did not show the victim's fingerprints on the outer side of the door, only on the inner. Alfred Eaton, by means of deception or threats, led the victim to his secret workshop, which is located on the first floor of his apartment. The police report did not indicate any signs of struggle or resistance. The accused probably wanted to test on Marie Capet the prototype of a torture machine of his construction, which was in the room along with medical tools and manuals of torture. When Marie Capet realized what the accused intended to do, she grabbed a metal rod lying in the room and hit the accused on the head, which caused a real threat to his life and, according to doctors, may have caused unconsciousness. The fingerprints of Marie Capet's left hand were found on the rod, as well as Alfred Eaton's traces of blood. Traces of blood were also found on the floor of that room. At the time of his arrest, the accused had an extensive wound on his head, as confirmed by medical examination. Seizing the opportunity, Mary Capet fled from the apartment. She was stressed and in a hurry. This was confirmed by her numerous fingerprints secured on the inside of the door of the apartment of the accused. Then Mary Capet ran into a nearby hotel, the Caucasus. It was the same hotel in which the accused rented a room. As it appears from the testimony of the clerk, Mary Capet was extremely stressed, repeating the word doctor and police. Probably she wanted to call for help. When the clerk went to get some water to calm Mary Capet, she disappeared. The next day, on the 18th of October, about 8:32 a.m., a maid found her body in a room rented by Alfred Eaton. It was covered with numerous fingerprints of the victim and of the accused, and had traces of the victim's blood. The immediate cause of death was a severe blow to the abdomen in the liver area, with a blade of about 14 centimeters length. The murder weapon constructed by the accused was secured in his apartment. Mary Capet's unwashed blood stains were still present on it, as well as the fingerprints of the accused. The accused is also charged by the testimony of one of the neighbors who passed the accused at the front door of the building in which they both lived at about 11:30 p.m. The witness testified that the clothing of the accused was stained with blood. Unfortunately, the said clothes were not found. At the time of committing the alleged crime, the accused was sane, which means he acted consciously. For committed crimes, the accused shall be liable to life imprisonment or the death penalty. Has the accused finally understood the indictment?
Oui, Monsieur le Président.
Does the accused plead guilty to the charges against him?
Non, Monsieur le Président.
Does the accused want to provide explanations?
Oui, Monsieur le Président.
Monsieur le Président, could I ask you for some conversation time with my client?
Of course. I just wish it would not take too much time. We've already wasted too much of it.
Monsieur Eaton, please note that you can look through evidence at any moment. It is available by pressing Tab. I will show the defense evidence to the court at the time of your uncovering during the testimony. It might surprise the prosecutor. If necessary, you can recall the string of events, according to the prosecution, by pressing the Q key. Will you need my help during testimony? I will give you my advice and remind you of important facts and events. We are ready, Monsieur le Président.
Then let's get started. Monsieur Eaton, what were you doing on October 17th, 1894, from 8 to 12 p.m.?
There was a theatrical premiere of Prométhée that day, which was sponsored by Le Feu, in which I am the lead designer. Starting at 7 p.m., I was at the premiere at the Opéra Garnier. Around 8:30 p.m., after the play, I found that I did not want to attend the dull banquet, and instead I preferred to work. I said goodbye to Hugo Argent, president of Le Feu, and I drove home. I got there at about 9 p.m. I decided to go for an evening walk. I entered the Café de Paris cafeteria. I wanted to drink some good wine and eat a piece of cheese. A group of Parisian rabble tried to throw me out, screaming that there was no room for gypsy thieves. They beat me and threw me into the street. I was all covered in blood.
Did you report this fact to police officers?
No, Monsieur le Président. I decided that it was not worth losing my time.
And why is that?
A second of my word is more important than a lifetime of each and every one of those plebeians. Besides, if I had reported it, I would have done them a favor.
What do you mean, Monsieur Eaton?
In jail, they would have had better living conditions than those holes that they call houses.
I understand. Please return to your testimony.
I tried to stop the car, but it ran out of fuel. I already returned from l'Opéra Garnier on fumes, and there was no... I opened the door and entered the building where my apartment is. I found a letter from the Ministère de la Justice.
Monsieur le Président, this is the evidence marked with number 2. It clearly shows that my client designed his interrogation machine with only the best intentions. According to his plan, it was supposed to be forwarded to the prosecutor's office and law enforcement agencies to improve the effectiveness of interrogation. Monsieur le Président, this is the evidence. Monsieur le Président, this is the evidence marked with number 2. It clearly shows that my client designed his interrogation machine with only the best intentions. According to his plan, it was supposed to be forwarded to the prosecutor's office and law enforcement agencies to improve the effectiveness of interrogation. The prosecutor's suggestions that my client has supposedly intended to use this device to torture helpless women is hasty and completely untrue. This letter only proves that the accused was looking for application of his torture machine, and had not found any support from Ministère de la Justice, so he decided to test it on an innocent woman.
The court supports the view that the mere fact of an offer to the Ministère de la Justice does not constitute sufficient evidence that the allegedly accused acted in good faith when creating such a device. Monsieur Eaton, please go back to your testimony.
I checked my mailbox again, but there was nothing new. Then I opened the inner door. I checked if I stopped to read the announcement. I stopped to read the announcement. Then I called the elevator. I opened the elevator grate. Then I took the elevator to the first floor. I opened the elevator grate. I knocked, but no one answered. I wanted to turn off the lights in the hallway, but the switch still did not work. I wanted to turn off the lights in the hallway, but the switch still did not work. I knocked at Monsieur Brissot's door, and he called back after some time.
Do you always visit your neighbors at such odd hours?
Monsieur Brissot is the only neighbor I like. I believe with reciprocity. He goes to sleep late, and sometimes we like to argue about politics and the influence of La Révolution on today's France.
Please, return to your testimony.
I heard noises coming from the kitchen. I thought it was Monsieur Brissot preparing his dinner, and I wanted to say hello. But it was not him, only a woman.
Did you recognize this woman?
Not immediately. She seemed familiar, but I did not know who she was.
Please testify.
I was curious to see behind the door, but did not want to. I was curious to see behind the door, but did not want to. I opened the door to the living room. For a good 10 minutes, I talked to Monsieur Brissot. And again, we had an argument about La Révolution. Monsieur Brissot felt regret that in modern France, the high birth was no longer relevant. Also, he boasted that he had hired a maid. I do not know where he found the money for her salary and did not see any effects of her work. His apartment was a mess, as usual.
Wasn't that an odd thing for you?
Yes, Monsieur le Président. If someone hires a servant, one can expect order. And in this apartment there was none.
Did your neighbor say anything else about the maid?
Yes, I was going to say it. It turned out that it was Marie Capet, my old classmate. We grew up in the same city, and I had not known that she had moved to Paris.
So you admit that you knew the victim?
Oui, I knew who she was. I opened the door to the living room of Monsieur Brissot. I opened the door and walked out into the hallway. For a moment, I watched the fireworks over the rooftops of Paris. I knocked, but no one answered. I opened the door and entered my apartment. Then I opened the inner door. Then I ate some leftover oysters with a few caviar tarts from my lunch. I also drank some good wine. For a moment, I watched the fireworks over the rooftops of Paris. Then I opened the door. I examined the historic tableware in the dining room. Then I opened the door. I tried to play something on the piano. I must add that I cannot play, and the piano is just for decoration. I used the stairs. For a moment, I watched the rooftops of Paris through the window. I started to work on my new cleaning machine. After 30 minutes, I decided to take a break. I worked on my new invention for about half an hour. Then I opened the door. Then I used the stairs. I heard someone knocking at the door. I opened it, and there she was. She saw my condition, and it apparently got her upset, but I assured her that everything was in order. I invited Marie Capet inside. She said she remembered me from school and was curious how things turned out for me. She had been recently hired as a maid by my neighbor, Monsieur Brissot. I showed her my apartment, my designs and inventions. She was delighted. So I thought maybe she would be interested in my interrogation machine. I took her to my private workshop. I turned down my prototype machine to interrogate prisoners. Then, I felt a blow to my head, and I collapsed on the floor. I woke up some time later. My head ached, and I was all covered in blood. Marie Capet was nowhere to be found. I read for a while about the history of torture.
Are you interested in this subject?
It is not about hurting someone, but to use pain as one of the methods to convince someone to testify.
Do you think it is acceptable to inflict pain during the interrogation?
In extreme cases, yes, but my device is not inflicting it. And the prosecutor naming my device the torture machine only shows his deep ignorance on that subject.
Order, please. And I admonish the accused to make no offense to any of the participants of this trial. Please, return to your testimony.
My journal, in which I described the construction process of my interrogation machine, was on my desk.
Monsieur le Président, this is the evidence marked with number 3. It clearly shows that my client had only his best intentions during the construction of his interrogation device. According to his plan, it would be forwarded to the prosecutor's office and law enforcement agencies in order to improve the effectiveness of interrogation. My client also wrote that the first test of the machine would be conducted under the supervision of the Ministère de la Justice.
Thank you, Counselor. The accused may return to his testimony.
I read for a while about the history of torture. I saw that the safe was open, and Capet had stolen the designs of my most important invention.
Why do you think Madame Capet did it?
I don't know, Monsieur le Président, but I was going to find out. I changed into clean clothes. I opened the inner door. Then I used the stairs. I wanted to shave, but I cut myself with a razor. I was all covered in blood. Then I opened the door. For a moment, I watched the fireworks over the rooftops of Paris. Then I opened the door. Then I opened the door. I used my freight elevator to go to the basement. I stared out of the window at the magnificent display of fireworks against La Tour Eiffel. I took the freight elevator to my apartment. Usually, I use it to take up the boxes with parts from Le Feu. My private elevator. I took a bath and washed off the blood. I used the stairs. Then I opened the door. I was tired after the banquet, so I immediately went to sleep. I was even too tired to undress.
Is it all you want to testify, Monsieur Eaton?
Oui, Monsieur le Président.
And so I close the hearing. It is time to present your positions.
Monsieur le Président, the accused tried to trick himself off the responsibility. He used cunning rhetoric, trying to hide more and more of his new lies. However, in view of the evidence presented by the prosecutor, I have no doubt that Alfred Eaton, defendant who appeared today before the court, murdered Marie Capet in cold blood. Please, let the High Court not be deceived by his tearful stories about a poor gypsy from the country who gained his success with hard work, and which Marie Capet so cleverly tried to destroy. It was the accused who destroyed the life of a poor girl and her family with full premeditation. And what did that poor girl do to deserve such cruel fate? She was searching for a better life, and was employed as a maid in the same building in which a dangerous psychopath lived. According to the prosecution, the accused is guilty, Monsieur le Président. Therefore, I apply for recognition of Alfred Eaton, defendant who appeared today before the court, guilty of all charges against him, and for imposition of the death penalty by beheading on the guillotine. Thank you. Monsieur le Président, Monsieur Prosecutor used a lot of high-flown words. However, during the preparation of indictment, he made many mistakes. As to the hotel room, my client had never rented a room in the Caucasus Hotel. The guest book was falsified, and the clerk made a false statement. As to the alleged attempt to use the torture device on the victim, my client did not intend to use his interrogation device, which the prosecutor describes as a torture machine, neither on Marie Capet nor on anyone else. This is indicated by the letter sent by my client to the Ministère de la Justice with a proposal of a lawful use of the equipment to serve the law as well as society.
The journal of Alfred Eaton clearly proves it, where he writes that he does not intend to use his device against honest, innocent people. It is important to emphasize the relationship of Marie Capet and my client. According to the testimony of the victim's parents, she felt a deep resentment and contempt, both for my customer and for his work and success. As to the meeting with Marie Capet in his apartment, indeed, Marie Capet came to visit my client at his apartment, and Alfred Eaton let her in, not expecting such a sudden attack. Hence the victim's fingerprints in the apartment of my client, and traces of Monsieur Eaton's blood, which were mentioned by the prosecutor. As for Alfred Eaton's weapon, please note, Monsieur le Président, that my client testified that he had not had the murder weapon on himself. The knife was in his secret workshop all that time. Everyone could have stolen it and then dropped it off. As for the murder, as my client testified, he did not kill Marie Capet. So, who did? As for the testimony of the neighbor who saw Alfred Eaton entering the building covered in blood, according to my client's testimony, that meeting had never taken place. So the witness made a false testimony. Taking into account the evidence from the neighbor's opinions, the witness might have had a motive, an aversion towards my client, and racial prejudice. Thank you, Monsieur le Président. Monsieur Eaton, the French Gypsy Association wishes to send you support and condolences for the persecution caused by your gypsy origin. We are aware that it was the main cause of your indictment. We offer you a safe haven if you decide to leave the prison in less official way. One of our persecuted members, who had also been imprisoned in the prison de la Santé, mentions the decayed walls in most of the cells. Maybe you could use this information? Signed, X. You gypsy scum. You can be sure that you will take responsibility for what you have done to our daughter. You will be beheaded, and even neither your millions nor your connections will be able to help you. Is the stolen money not enough? Is your wrongdoing to all these poor people not enough? You had to tear everything away from us, including our only daughter. Death to the rich. Vive la nouvelle révolution. Mon cher ami, I am in a deep regret that you had to stand before the court accused of such a terrible deed. I assure you that I deeply believe in your innocence and will do my best so that you can continue to work for the glory of Le Feu and toute la France. Cordialement, Hugo Argent. Monsieur Eaton, please hurry. The court is ready to announce the verdict.
The verdict on behalf of the République Française. The court, as present, hereby finds that Alfred Eaton, accused of murdering Marie Capet, is guilty of the charges against him, and sentences the accused to the death penalty by beheading on the guillotine. The executions will be done in Prison de la Santé the next day. She should be here by now. Bien. So let's get started. Monsieur Eaton. Monsieur Eaton. Monsieur Eaton. For a moment, I do not recall that. I do not recall that. I decided for a moment, I admired the I do not recall that. I entered the Café de Paris cafeteria. I wanted to drink some good wine and eat a piece of cheese. A group of Parisian rabble tried to throw me out, screaming that there was no room for gypsy thieves. They beat me and threw me into the street. I was all covered in blood. Did you report this fact to police officers? No, Monsieur le Président. I decided that it was not worth losing my time. And why is that? A second of my work is more important than the lifetime of each and every one of those plebeians. Besides, if I had reported it, I would have done them a favor. What do you mean, Monsieur Eaton? In jail,
They would have had better living conditions than those holes that they call houses.
I understand. Please return to your testimony.
I do not recall that book. Later, I wanted to start the car and go for a ride, but it ran out of fuel. From l'Opéra Garnier, I already returned on... For a moment, I do not recall that book. I do not recall that book. Then, I opened the gate. I entered the nearby hotel, Caucasus. I opened the door to the phone room. Then I bought something from the vending machine. Next, I wanted to open the door to the restaurant, but it was closed because of the late... Apparently, the clerk noticed my state, but the rules of savoir-vivre did not let him make any commentary. I wanted to rent a room in a hotel, but the clerk said that a room had already been rented in my name. He said it's on the top floor and gave me a spare key. I must add that the conversation with this man was not held at about 9:25 p.m., as according to his testimony, but at a different time.
Monsieur Eaton, do you claim...
Oui, Monsieur le Président, but I knew it could not be a coincidence. The name Ethan is not that common. Yes, however, he hid behind his professional secrecy. I knew he wouldn't tell me a thing.
I do not understand one more. You live next to the hotel, so why did you want to rent a room there?
Sometimes I meet up with some girls of the Moulin Rouge, and due to my reputation, I prefer not to do it in my apartment.
Did you meet Marie Capet face to face?
No, Monsieur le Président, never.
I understand. Please continue.
I opened the elevator grate. Then I opened the elevator. I opened the elevator grate. I tried to open the door to the hotel room, but it was closed. I read cultural announcements. I tried the door handle to the hotel room. Then I opened the elevator. Then I took the elevator to the second floor. Then I opened the elevator grate. Then I opened the door. I opened the door and entered the room. I was tired after the banquet, so I immediately went to sleep. I was even too tired to undress.
Is it all you want to testify, Monsieur Eaton?
Oui, Monsieur le Président.
And so I close the hearing. It is time to present your positions. Monsieur le Président, the accused tried... Monsieur Eaton, please hurry. The court is ready to announce the verdict. The verdict on behalf of the République Française. The court, as present, hereby finds that Alfred Eaton, accused of murdering Marie Capet, is guilty of the charges against him, and sentences the accused to the death penalty by beheading on the guillotine. The executions will be done in Prison de la Santé the next day.